Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to auditing class. We are on lecture number 3 of bank audits, and I hope you have been revising at home. The more you revise, the better it is. And this chapter is very, very different from the rest of the chapters. It is more into the practical side of audit. You learn a lot about banking. So I hope you have been doing your job at home by studying regularly, having self-discipline. So without much further ado, let's start with the chapter. I hope you are all sitting upright, keeping books in your hands, keeping notebooks in your hand, keeping pen in your hand to note down anything that is required. So let's start with the class. Before we start with the class, I'll ask some random questions that we have been doing in the past 2 lectures, and you can give the answer in the chat box so that all of you are refreshed, active, and alert. So before I start with it, some very, very random questions for you. Okay. Which type of bank is allowed to have deposits, but they cannot have cash credit accounts, or they cannot issue credit cards? What are those type of banks? Everyone please reply. What are the banks that are allowed? Correct. So Navneet is fastest fingers first. So we are doing KBC, but no money. So payment bank, Navneet is absolutely right. Which type of bank is mostly involved in giving loans for development activities or infrastructural activities? Can you tell me the name of the bank, please? Development bank. Okay. Can you give me one example of development bank? I think some of you have already given. IDBI, SIDBI. So who was first here? This time Ashlesha is the fastest fingers first. So Ashlesha wins the second round. So let's see who can answer the next question. Yes, correct. So give me any one example of non-funded facility. Give me example of non-funded facility. You can give that example. LOC, correct, Mr. Linga. Full form I want. I want full form. Letter of credit. Absolutely right. Can you give me another example of non-funded facility? One more example of non-funded facility. Ashlesha, correct. BG. So it is bank guarantee. So this much is done. Next question. In cash credit type of facility, what is the type of security that is primary security? In cash credit facility, what type of security is primary security? Correct, stock and debtors. And stock is given which type of which type of mortgage, hypothecation, assignment, which type of security is given to it for stock and for stock? No, what is the right name? No one till now. So hypothecation, absolutely correct, Mr. Balamurgan. You are the first one here. So yes, absolutely, hypothecation, very good. It seems you have been paying attention, you have been reading at home. I'm very, very happy to see that. The more you do it, the better you will perform in audit, better you will score in audit. It is not a subject to be afraid of. It is a subject to which we have to give some love, care, and attention. And if you give that to it, it will respond back very nicely to you with very good marks. Okay. So shall we start with today's class now? Shall we start with new topics? All right. Perfect. So do you remember Mr. Don? All of you remember Mr. Don? Our nice, lovely Mr. Don, whose story we studied fully? Okay. So So you remember that he took some money from the bank, right? He took one term loan of 60 lakh rupees to buy machinery. Then he also took cash credit of 30 lakhs to make his working capital work. So we studied what is primary, what is collateral. In the last topic that we studied was types of security, in which I taught you about this part. Same Mr. Don we were going on. So we studied about mortgage. Can anyone tell me what are two types of mortgages? Quickly, can anyone tell me what are two types of mortgages? This I want to do in continuation of today's topic. That's why I'm doing a little bit of revision so that when we start the new part, it will be there in your mind. Deepak is correct here. Equitable mortgage and registered mortgage. So the first one was Mr. Deepak. So first was mortgage type of security, hypothecation type of security, then pledge, then assignment, then set off and lien. We studied all that with example. Now let's continue Mr. Don's story. Okay, pay attention here. First I'll explain to you, then we will see the book. Okay, pay attention. So we have Mr. Don. He has taken loan for term loan for machinery. Okay, term loan for machinery. Now he has to pay, let's say, EMI on first day of every month. So on first day of every month, he has to pay EMI. So let's say he has to pay EMI on 06/2024. Okay, so EMI becomes due. Now this date has passed. Okay, this date has passed. It's now 2nd June 2024, but the EMI has not come in the bank account. Do you think the bank should have some system that sends them an alert to the borrower also and to the bank officials also? There should be a system of internal control that will send some alert that, hey, this person has missed his EMI. Okay. So it will not just send message to the borrower. Is message to borrower enough, or people in the bank should also come to know this? The people in the bank should also come to know this. So this starts giving an early warning signal, right? And that is when this account slips into something called as SMA account, SMA 0 account. What is SMA? Special mention account. Okay, so it becomes something called as special mention account as soon as the overdue is within 3 days. So when do you become SMA? When the overdue up to 30 days. So what if Mr. Don missed the EMI on 2nd June, but he repaid it on 10th June? Will we remove his name from SMA 0? Will we remove his name from SMA 0? Yes. So it will be normal to normal account, performing account. Okay. Now let's say they are overdue for more than 30 days, which means now it is 1st July 2024. So it is more than 30 days since it became overdue. Then it becomes SMA 1. What does it become? SMA 1. So it will stay here when the overdue is between 30 to 60 days. It will stay in this when the overdue is 30 to 60 days. Okay. Now it is slipping down. First it was normal account, then it become SMA 0 account. Now it has become SMA 1 account. Okay. Now again 30 more days have passed. Okay. So now let's say it is 1/8/2024. This is just for explanatory purposes. Let's just assume that each month is 30 just for the simplicity. So now 1/8/2024. Now again the money has not come. What will it become? SMA-2 account. What will it become? SMA-2 account. So from 60 days to less than 90 days. But what if now it will become SMA-2? Okay. 61th day pe hoga. Correct. That's why I said just for simplicity, let's imagine month-wise. Okay. Just so that you are also not confused too much. Let's imagine for simplicity. Okay. Now, up to 90 days, it will remain here. What happens if it becomes overdue for more than 90 days? What happens if it becomes overdue for more than 90 days? SMA, NPA. Very good, Archana. SMA-2 तक ही सफर रहेगा. तब तक warning मिलेगी. Till that time you get warnings. But if the overdue becomes for more than 90 days, you become an NPA, which means now we have to classify you as a non-performing asset. Okay. Non-performing asset means even the bank doesn't want their loans to become NPA. The borrower also doesn't want their loan to become NPA. Why the borrower doesn't want their loan to become NPA? Because it affects their CIBIL score. How many of you understand what is a CIBIL score? How many of you understand what is their CIBIL score? Credit score, score of credit worthiness. Very good. So, when we do any kind of transactions, even if you have a credit card, small EMI loans, any loans builds your credit history. The more loans you have taken and repaid them successfully, your score will be better, 700 plus, 800 plus, okay? And more you have failed in repaying on time, your credit score diminishes, okay? So you will try to avoid any kind of problem in your credit worthiness. That is why you don't want the loans to become NPA. You will be like, no, sir, I'll pay. Okay, like that. Bank, what is the interest of bank? That they also are fearful. They also fear NPS. What is the reason for bank to fear NPS? It can also affect the bank's risk rating. It can affect the staff who has given loans. Okay. So a lot of factors are there that even bank is scared of loans becoming NPA. Okay. So there is an incentive on both the sides to ensure that loans do not become NPA. All right. And that is why it becomes a very important risk area of audit. Why? Because there is an incentive on both the sides to ensure that the NPA is less. Now let's talk about Mr. Don again. What happens that you see this pattern in Mr. Don that his account falls to SMA-2 every time, then he repays, then again his account falls to SMA-0, then SMA-1, then SMA-2, and again he repays. Does it mean that Mr. Don is regular? Does it mean that Mr. Don is regular? No. But does it also mean that he is going as NPA? But is he still going as NPA? No, he's not going as NPA, but he is coming every 2-3 months. He's coming back in SMA list, right or wrong? Okay. So what we are going to study today are two important things. As an auditor, what are the things to remember about NPA and what are the things to remember about, once again, income recognition? Income recognition. Okay. So these are the two things that we will study in lot of detail today. So now you all understand that when the overdue is more than 90 days, the account becomes an NPA. So to become an NPA also, it went through a journey. It went through the journey that first it was NPA 0, then it was SMA 0, then it was SMA 1, then it was SMA 2. Now after becoming an NPA also, it goes through a journey. Okay. The first journey is that it will become a substandard asset. The first journey that it goes to, it becomes a substandard asset. Everything that we are doing now is very, very important in real life, in exam, everywhere. Okay. So the first journey an NPA account goes through, it becomes substandard asset, and you have to do provisioning of 15%. How much provisioning we have to do? 15% provisioning. Now, substandard asset is there, which means remains NPA for up to 12 months. So if it has been 12 months since you became NPA, you will go under substandard assets. Next is doubtful assets. Next leg is doubtful assets. The first is when you are less than 12 months since D1. What does it mean? It means for 1 year you stayed after you became NPA. Let's say you became NPA on, let's say you became NPA on 1/9/2024. Okay. So you became NPA on 1/9/2024. So for 1 year, where will you stay? For 1 year up till 31st 8, up until 31st 8, 2025, where will you stay? You will stay as substandard asset. What will you stay as? When you become NPA for the first time, where do you stay? Where is your home? Your home is substandard asset. Okay. Your stop is this substandard asset. Now, after 31st 8, when you are still not able to repay, after you have spent 1 year being substandard asset, you go to D1. And how much time do you stay in D1? How long do you stay in D1? Okay, you stay for another 12 months. So for 1/9, it became NPA, so it will stay in substandard till 31st 8. Now, just for the sake of simplicity, you will stay in doubtful till 31st 8, 2026. So for 1 more year, you can stay in D1. Now, D1, you have to pay, you have to do provisioning of 25%. So if you are in D1, you have to do provisioning of 25%. Okay. Then after D1, what do you think will be logically? Where do you think you will go after D1? You will go to D2. D2 means doubtful for 1 to 3 years. So if you have been doubtful for more than 1 year, but up to 3 years, then 40%. then how much will be provisioning? 40%. And if you are doubtful for more than 3 years, then you will be having 100% provisioning. Okay, then you will be having 100% provisioning. But here is the one important thing. This provisioning is for secured asset. This provisioning stages that we see, 25%, 40%, 100%, it is for secured. What if your loan is unsecured? What if the loan is unsecured? If the loan is unsecured, the provisioning will directly be 100%. If the loan is unsecured, if you become doubtful, the provisioning will directly be 100%. And so what did we study? This is first type of NPA. Second, now the last stage of NPA is loss asset. Okay. Lost asset is usually identified by bank. So either bank or internal or external auditor or RBI inspection. During this process, if something deserves to be 100%, I'll tell you the examples of that later on. Something deserves to be 100% and the bank has not given it provisioning, but it is identified by internal auditor, external auditor, or RBI inspection, then you have to directly write it off fully as 100%. So what is the structure? If you are a substandard asset, the provisioning is 15. So how do I remember it? I'll tell you. Just essay. Do you know how we remember phone numbers? Do you know how we remember phone numbers? When have you observed that how we remember phone numbers? We remember by creating a rhythm. अपने अपने मैं ऐसे कोई एग्जांपल नहीं दे सकती, बट अपना अपना कोई भी फोन नंबर याद करो, आप एक उसको टोन में बोलते हो. You always say it in some way, some tone, right? So I feel the best way to remember whenever there are numbers is to create a tune out of it or a tone of saying it. So how do I remember? 15, 25, 40, 100. Okay. 15, 25, 40, 100. Okay. Whatever you want is comfortable. 15, 25, 40, 100. Okay. So 15, 25, 40, 100. So 15 is substandard, 25 doubtful 1, 40 doubtful 2, 100 doubtful 3, and of course loss to 100 hai hi. Do you understand? Okay. Unsecured to 100. Okay. Unsecured to 100. So mostly you will be asked questions regarding the secured part. All right. So 15, 25, 40, 100. 15, 25, 40, 100. Okay. So just remember it like this, in a tone, in a flow. Okay. Please remember it. You can't forget this. This topic is so important for theory, for practical question, for case study question, for MCQ question. Anywhere it can be asked. It is very, very important. Okay. All right. Now let's come to next thing that I'm talking so much about NPA, but how do we decide whether something is an NPA? So one of the most common ways to decide whether something is an NPA is when it is term loans, any kind of term loan. See, term loans means when there is a fixed duration to pay the money. In substandard asset, yeah, it is 15% total, Archana. Only after doubtful, the unsecured becomes 100. All right. So let's talk about term loans. So term loans means car loan, house loan, machinery loan, anywhere where there is a fixed duration and fixed EMI being paid. So in term loans, we become NPA when the overdue is more than 90 days. Even in bills discounted, when bill becomes overdue for more than 90 days. Okay. So in all these cases, you become NP like this. But do you know our special thing? Cash credit. Is there any EMI in cash credit? Tell me quickly. Is there any EMI? Is there any fixed date of payment? Is there any EMI, any fixed date of payment? Is there even fixed amount to pay? Is there any even fixed amount that how much we have to pay? Can it change every day? Can our dues change every day? Depends on the debits and the credits that's coming in the current account, right? So cash credit becomes NPA when it is out of order. Cash credit becomes NPA. We are studying NPA. Term loan becomes NPA when they are overdue for more than 90 days. Bills discounted become NPA when the bill becomes overdue for more than 90 days. But when does cash credit becomes out of order? Okay. So cash credit becomes out of order this way. Pay attention. First question, first point. Cash credit becomes out of order first when, one second. Yeah. So when the outstanding balance, continuously remains continuously in excess of limit or drawing power. Now, SMA is very tricky for CC. That is why just pay attention. It is so much dependent on the decision of the management. Okay. Now, if you will see the official definition, what does it say? When the outstanding balance remains continuously in excess of sanctioned limit or drawing power. Does it say how many days? Does it say how many days? So banks can have policy. Do you understand? Banks can have policy for it. So if the outstanding balance, which means if the limit given to me is 25 lakhs and I'm continuously overdrawing it to 26 lakhs, 27 lakhs. Now that continuously, it can be 10 days, 30 days, 60 days. That will depend on the type of and terms and conditions of the loan. So if the outstanding balance remains continuously in excess of the sanctioned limit or drawing power, then it can become out of order, which means the bank management might have to take decision. If you are internal auditor, you can also argue that I think this is an NPA. Even if you are an external auditor, you can say, I think you should classify this as NPA. So this becomes a judgment area. Okay. Second, in cases where the outstanding balance is less than limit or DP, but now this is very clear. In this, there is no confusion, but no credits continuously for 90 days as on balance sheet date, which means that is what I said, Kuldeep. In first point, continuously does not have exact number of dates. If you will look at your book also, There is no specification. That is what I was explaining to you. So it can become part of judgment and internal policy and terms and conditions of the loan when you are giving it. Okay. But in second point, there is clear, number of days given that, let's say this is the, do you remember, let's say we were making biscuits. Okay. Let's say we are doing a biscuits factory. So what is the concept of CC? What is the concept of cash credit? Working capital, payment ja raha hai, payment aa raha hai. That is a working capital. Payment is going also, payment is coming also. Continuously you're purchasing material, continuously you're selling material. A healthy business will have continuous flow of debit and credit. Yes or no? Everyone first agree. A good and healthy business will have a continuous flow of debit, will have continuous flow of credit. And that is why you take CC. That is the reason. Now let's say the last credit has come of 1 lakh rupees. Okay. The last credit has come of 1 lakh rupees. After that, there are many debits. And as on 31st March 2025, after this, there are no credit in between. So for 3 months, no money has come, but money is continuously going. Do you think that's a healthy business sign? Which means you are using the money given by the bank, but no money is coming in. Do you think as a bank, now you should become alert and suspicious? Okay. And that is why if the outstanding balance is less than limit, but no credits continuously for 90 days as on balance sheet date. Now for this also, the bank staff gets alert that if it is 30 days that no credits have come, 60 days no credits have come, then they tell the customer, they inform the customer that if you do not put any credit for, if it crosses 90 days and you have not put any credit, we'll make it NPA. So there are internal control systems to give alerts to the banking professional so that they can ask and they can tell the client that this is what will happen. Many borrowers don't know that this can happen, right? So they inform the bank, they inform the borrowers that this is happening. Please make sure that the transactions are properly done, regularly done, and what is the reason that no credit is coming. Okay. So this is the this situation, it can become an NPA. Or this situation, it can become an NPA. Then third way, a CC account can become NPA. When credits are there, but not enough, but they are not enough to cover the interest debited during same period. Okay. What does this mean? It means some credits are there. It is not that credit is not there, but the credit is so less that you don't even have enough money in your account to pay the interest. Do you understand? So credits are there, but it is not even enough to cover the interest debited during the same period. Then it will be treated as out of order. And when it becomes out of order, it can become NPA. Is that clear? Very, very important. If same customer has any mutual funds apart from saving account, then same will be considered as collateral. Mutual fund money is not with you. It is with the asset management company. Do you mean that can mutual funds be given as a collateral security to the bank? Do you mean that, Kuldeep? Or with the same bank, you mean? No, there is no defined this thing for it. Unless and until it is a facility, there is no such statutory right. Okay. अगला क्या question है? Last वाला summarize कर दीजिए. Okay. I'll just go through it all again. When does cash credit become an out of order? When it remains, when does a cash credit become NPA? When it remains out of order. When can it become out of order? When the outstanding balance remains continuously in excess of the limit or the drawing power. और आउटस्टैंडिंग बैलेंस इज लेस देन, यानी कि पहला पॉइंट क्या है कि आपको लिमिट दी है 25 लाख की और आप उससे ज्यादा इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, यू आर यूजिंग मोर देन द लिमिट गिवन टू यू, that is when you are called out of order. Then outstanding balance is less than the limit, but no credit, no money is flowing in, only flowing out. So no credit for continuously. Please remember, continuously. So what if Mr. Don is very smart and he knows this trick, and after every, he knows that on 90 date, if he doesn't put, it will become out of order. So he can be very smart and he can put some credit after every 70, 80 days. Is it possible this can be done by a borrower? Is it possible? So this all things happen. That is why as an auditor, when you are, so these are very important areas of audit. Cash credits. Lot of statutory auditors, us CAs, if we go to bank as auditor, we pay a lot of attention on these manipulation techniques where straightforwardly to you are not NP or out of order. But an auditor can suggest on the basis of the patterns that there is something wrong going on. So with cash credit limits, you have to be very, very careful. You have to be very skeptical. You have to analyze properly and see the intention behind things that are happening. So if the outstanding balance is less than limit, but no credits continuously for 90 days as on balance sheet date, it is out of order. And credits are there, but they are not enough to cover the interest debited during the same period. Then also you can become out of order. So you can get a theory question also in exam, that when does an account become out of order, or when does a CC account becomes out of order. So you have to write these 3 points. Is everyone clear? Everyone clear? Can I move on to the next? Okay. Let's see the book of what we have studied till now, because we have done a lot. So I just want to show you that much. Before that, I just want to ask you one question. Let's say that my account is becoming about to become NPA. It is in SMA2 right now. Okay. My account is in SMA2. Now, I go to the bank and say that, hey, I have taken a loan of just 10 lakhs from you. Look at my net worth. Look, I am a 200 crore rupee person. I have so much wealth. I have so much money. I have a good amount of net worth. So there is no reason for you to call my account an NPA, because you have enough possibility of recovery from me. So is that a valid argument? So can we decide that whether we have to do NPA provisioning or not on the basis of net worth of the borrower? No, you might be having 200 crores, but you are not paying EMI for my 10 lakh, na? You might be having 200 crores with you, but you have missed EMI, na? Then if you have so much money, why did it come in SMA2? If you have so much money, why did your loan come in SMA2 if it's such a small amount? Pay it. So to the bank, does it matter how much your net worth is? In fact, it's very bad that you have so much net worth and still you are not paying EMI. Don't you think so? You have such a big net worth and still you are not paying EMI. Then the bank will start suspecting that whether you are a willful defaulter. What is a willful defaulter? Someone who has money, someone who has means, but they are not paying. That is called as willful defaulter. So in fact, it's not a good thing for you to go to the bank and show off your wealth. The bank will say, if you have so much money, pay my money back. So it does not matter what your net worth is, how much money you have. It does not matter uh, unless you're not paying money to the bank. Simple. Not paying money to the bank, it becomes overdue for more than 90 days, NPA. Simple. So let's see the book of what we have studied till now. I don't have to tell you, but I'm still telling you, most important. This is the most important part of your chapter that we are studying today. Okay? Yes, if you are overdue for more than 90 days, the first landing page is substandard asset for 12 months. Okay? So let's just see classification, standard and NPA. So when everything is going, you call it standard, regular. So SMA accounts or NPA accounts? Firstly, you tell me this. Are SMA accounts NPA accounts? Are SMA accounts NPA accounts? No. They are just early stress signals. What is it called? They're just giving stress signals. So SMA, special mention account, SMA 0, SMA 1, 31 to 60 days, and SMA 2 between 61 to 90 days. Everyone clear? And NPA is substandard, doubtful D1, D2, D3, and loss asset. Okay. So this part we have finished. Non-performing, again, it can come as theory plus MCQ plus practical. Okay. So it can come as theory also, MCQ also, and practical question also. So an asset becomes NPA when it ceases to, underline this word, ceases to generate income. It does not mean whether you are secured or unsecured. When you are not giving monthly, whatever is your EMI income to the bank, you are, ma'am, if amount is due for 90 days, does it affect credit score? Your SMA usually stays within the bank, but overdue report can go to CIBIL. But mostly from my practical experience, I have seen, so if you read CIBIL report, if you have seen in real life, there's something called as overdue. So there is a marker called as overdue. So it shows that since when it is overdue. So that detail goes to the CIBIL. Okay. Since when it becomes overdue. So for example, your credit card is there, right? And you have not paid your credit card for 30 days, 60 days. So it shows overdue. Is that clear? So that amount goes. So I think it affects. See, no one, I'm telling you, you can actually Google this also, you can research also. No one actually knows that how CIBIL score is actually calculated. Do you know that? We know the factors that affect it, but we don't know exactly how it is calculated. Is that clear? So that is why I can give you my observation, but I cannot say for sure. Is that clear, Tanu? CIBIL score is economic Janam Kundli. Yeah, you can say like that. CIBIL is a company, Navneet. CRISIL rating, CIBIL rating, all these are private companies. That is what I'm saying. On what basis? So they have their own ways of doing it by getting. That is why your CIBIL score can be different in different rating agencies. Do you know that? There is one CRF also. In SBI, they have their own rating system also. So everyone can have their own basis. CIBIL is one type. Is that clear? CIBIL is one of the type of the companies in which rating is given. That is why we don't study it officially under any act. Yes, no fixed formula. Factors are there. Factors are there. It has recognition. It has recognition. More than that, it has practical value. That is why they are so big. Anything else? No, RBI does not recognize only CIBIL. Nothing like that. Nothing like that, Kuldeep. RBI just says that there needs to be credit score to evaluate the credit history. Now, which agency the bank uses, it is up to them. There is CRM also for commercial rating report. Many things are there. CIBIL is the most popular. Okay. All right. So where were we? An asset becomes NPA when it ceases to generate income for the bank. A non-performing asset is a loan or an advance where interest or any installment of principal becomes overdue for a period of more than 90 days in respect of term loan. Account remains out of order in respect of ODCC. Bill becomes overdue for a period of more than 90 days in case of bills purchased and discounted. Okay. Out of order, another theory question you can get, plus practical question also, plus MCQ also. An account should be treated out of order if the outstanding balance remains continuously in excess of the sanction limit or drawing power, or in case where outstanding balance is less than sanction limit or drawing power, but there are no credits continuously for 90 days. Please remember, no credits continuously. Credits are there, but not enough to cover the interest debited during the same period. These accounts should be treated as out of order. There's one small example. We'll just see that. A Limited has been sanctioned a credit facility by ADB Bank for INR 50 lakhs. But as per stock statement furnished, the bank has calculated drawing power to be 42 lakhs. In this case, the account would be termed out of order if the outstanding balance remains continuously in excess of 50 or 41 lakhs, whatever the case may be. The outstanding balance in the account is less than 42 lakhs, but there are no credits or any payments deposited for continuously 90 days as on balance sheet date. Or credits are up to say 2 lakhs, but they are not enough to cover the interest debited during the same period, which is around 5 lakhs. That's it. So this is just an example. Now, overdue means any amount due to the bank is overdue if it is not paid on the due date fixed by the bank. This all you don't have to see. Just come here. This is again very important. Theory plus MCQ plus case studies. Everywhere it can come. Okay. Yes. 15, 25, 40, 100. 15, 25, 40, 100. Substandard asset. Substandard asset would be which remains NPA for a period less than or equal to 12 months. So 15%. Doubtful would be one which has remained in the substandard category for more than for a period of 12 months. Then it comes to doubtful. So D1 up to 1 year, D2 1 to 3 years, D3 more than 3 years. 25, 40, 100, unsecured 100, 100, 100. Loss asset 100 would be one where loss has been identified. Okay, identified by bank, internal auditor, external auditor, RBI inspection. That's it. Finished. Classification of NPA should be on the basis of record of recovery. Very important. Availability of security, net worth of borrower is not to be taken into account. NPA is only on the basis of record of recovery. Okay. Can I move on to next point? Do you remember what did I say? That if I have multiple loans in a bank, so Let me ask you this question first. One interesting question I have to ask. So Mr. Don has taken 2 loans from the bank. You remember? He has taken 2 loans from the bank. The first loan he has taken, let's say term loan and working capital, cash credit. Suppose he has taken one more loan, home loan. And let's say he's proprietor. Okay. Now term loan he's paying nicely. Working capital also he's paying nicely. But he has become overdue for more than 90 days. Now, will only the home loan become NPA or Mr. Don becomes an NPA? Will Mr. Don become an NPA or only home loan will become an NPA? Some are saying home loan. Some are saying Mr. Don. Okay. So the correct answer is NPA is borrower wise, not facility wise. Please remember one of the most important points. Do you understand? One of the most important points. Okay. NPA is always borrower wise, not facility wise. So even if he has multiple loans, Don will become NPA. Okay. So who will be NPA? Mr. Don will be an NPA. So all his loans will become substandard asset. Do you understand? All his loans will become substandard asset and will have 15% of provisioning. But what if I give you another example? Mr. Don has 2 loans. He has home loan in SBI. He has car loan in BOB. Your home loan has become overdue for more than 90 days and car loan is paid regularly. Now SBI has made Mr. Don NPA. So will BOB also make Mr. Don NPA? Two people are saying no. 3 people are saying no. Good. So NPA is on the basis of bank's record of recovery. Okay. It is on the basis of bank's record of recovery. Everyone clear? It is on the basis of bank's record of recovery. So who will become NPA? Only SBI will classify. BOB is able to recover money. So BOB is getting its income. Okay. So BOB is getting its income. So is BOB not getting its income for all its loans? It is getting. But will BOB become alert if it sees that it has become NPA in another bank? Will BOB become more alert? It can become alert, but it is not necessary that there will be provisioning. They cannot classify him as NPA in their books of accounts. Okay? All right. So this very important points. Next point. So I told you this example, if you remember, this SMA example. I'll provide screenshot, don't worry. So let's come back to the SMA example. Okay. So Mr. Don was informed by the bank. They told him, if you don't pay Whether provisioning is done borrower wise or account wise, borrower wise, all loans will become NPA. Okay, Deepak? Value of all loans come under provisioning. So if I have 4 loans with the same bank and one account becomes overdue, all come under the provisioning. Clear? So let's come to an example that I was sharing with you. So you remember this SMA example? Now, Mr. Don has become very smart. Okay, he is a good businessman. He has understood how to do work, everything he has understood. He has been working with the same bank for a long period of time. So he has become very smart. Now, what he does is that he knows that his account will become NPA. Okay, let's say he knows that on 29th March 2025, his account will become NPA because it has been overdue for more than 90 days. It is about to become NPA on this date. So what, and he also knows that if it becomes NPA, the auditor will come and it will show in the annual financial statements of the bank. Yes or no? Even in the bank, 31st March, his account and everything will be shown as NPA. Now he has a lot of motive. Now even bank has motive because if their NPA percentage is very high, they will get a lot of scolding from their seniors. They will have to be very accountable to the auditors who will come. It will affect their rating. It will affect their promotion. Everything be affected, right? So now both parties have some incentive. Okay. So what do? They say on 28, on 28, you get some money from somewhere on loan. Okay. You get some money and you deposit 10 lakh rupees. Okay. You deposit 10 lakh rupees and you reverse the entry on 4/4/2025. It is reversed. Now, did this account become an NP on 31st? Did this account become NP on 31st? What did they do? This process is called as regularization near the balance sheet date. Now think like an auditor. Okay, I'm telling you, see, to be able to do audit, I should know how frauds are done, right? Okay, I am teaching you, I'm giving you examples of how frauds are done so that you can be a good auditor. So I am telling you that this is how people in real life do fraud. Now think like an auditor that what can we do in this case? Think of the process that we need to do. What can we do? I'll give you a minute to write down properly. पता कैसे चलेगा कुलदीप कि ऐसा हुआ है? To even find out what you can do. How will you come to know that something like this has happened? There are crores of loans in the bank. What is the audit procedure you will perform? What sampling, but what will you sample? Think of it like this. Imagine that you are in the bank. You are in the bank. I am your manager. Ask from me what details you want. You will tell me, ma'am, I want sampling. I will ask, what sampling do you want? Balamurugan is saying, you are auditors, I am bank manager. I am asked, you want to check that something like this has not happened. You will ask sampling from me. What sampling, sir? I am manager. I don't understand what you are saying. Kuldeep is saying, I'll check last few days of transactions. Sir, which transactions you want to check? Balamurugan sir, you are saying transactions around balance sheet date in large volumes. Should I give you deposit accounts or term deposit accounts, sir? Loans list. Okay, sir, we have 50,000 loans in our bank. Should I give you a list of all 50,000 loans? Kuldeep sir, can I give you loan 50,000 list? We have 200 gold loans every month. Very good. Now Deepak has reached the target. What will you ask from me? Deepak, इसको थोड़ा और narrow down करो. You are on the right track. What will you exactly ask from me? I am the manager. You are the auditor sitting in front of me. You want to check this regularization has not happened. Very good. SMA2 list you'll ask from me. For whole year, you'll ask from me. Sir, should I give you SMA list for the whole year, sir? Deepak, I am the manager. I'm talking to you, Tanu. Should I give you SMA list for the whole year, Tanu? Good. These are all judgments, okay? I'm not teaching you law right now. We are doing audit. Audit is more art, okay? So, okay, sir, Deepak, sir, here is your list of SMA2. What will you do next? SMA2 for March month. Now, what will you do, Deepak, sir? I'm asking you, I'm the manager. Here is the list. So, what will Deepak do now? Check for credit entries. Will he check credit entries only up to 31st March? Will he check for credit entries only up to 31st March? Will you check credit entries before date and after closing date also? Very good. Now you are thinking like an auditor. Now you are thinking like an auditor. So, whenever you are confused about what to actually write in steps, okay, you have studied vouching, you have studied verification. I have also taught you special entities. Do you remember? How do we think an answer? We think about what we'll actually do if someone was sitting in front of us. If a client is sitting in front of me, what will I ask? So let's come to this part. Accounts regularized near balance sheet date. The asset classification of borrower accounts where a solitary or a few credits are recorded before the balance sheet date should be handled with care and without scope for subjectivity. Scope of subjectivity means ज़्यादा ये सोचे बिना कि हो गया होगा ठीक है. No, you have to examine them. When the account indicates inherent weakness on the basis of data available, the account should be deemed as NPA. What should it be deemed as? Which means that even though Mr. Don paid the money before 90 days, Mr. Don paid the money before 90 days. Where did it go? Yeah. Even though Mr. Don paid the money before 90 days, we will deem it to be an NPA because of the nature of the transaction. What does it become? Deemed NPA. That is why I told you as an auditor, you don't just have to use this like a law that 90 days, 90 days, 89 days to NPA nahi. No, no, no. There are rules that 90 days is a rule. But do you have to apply your own mind also? You have to apply your own judgment also, that when you feel substance over form is feeling like that it should be an NPA, but because of technicality, they are escaping it. Then you still have to, you can still ask it to be classified, deemed as NPA. Everyone clear? Deemed as NPA. So that is why it becomes even very important that even auditor can apply his own judgment also in telling, no, I think this should be an NPA, even though the 90-day rule is not applied. The auditor should check for sample transactions immediately before the closing of financial year and immediately after the closing of financial year to get a knowledge of objective behind transactions, and if they have any relation to each other in borrower accounts, or in some transactions are being reversed during the first few days after closing, which might show an arrangement to prevent the borrower's account from slipping into NPA category. Everyone clear? Very, very important. All right, can I move on to next point? Interesting class today, right? Very different from what you usually study in auditing. Next topic. Government guaranteed advances. Pay attention. Government guaranteed advances. Pay attention. So, first to teach you this, I have to teach you about income recognition. So, usually, as the EMI becomes due, interest is recognized as accrued income. Okay. So when EMI becomes due, the interest is recognized by bank as accrued income. But when account becomes NPA, you have to reverse accrued income and only on realized basis or actual basis you have to. So if they pay the money, you will recognize it. But otherwise, if you have put anything as accrued income, you have to reverse it. This much everyone understands? Income recognition in NPA and normal. So in normal cases, whenever your EMI becomes due, interest is recognized as accrued income. It becomes part of the P&L. It becomes part of the revenue of the bank. But when account becomes an NPA, all the accrued income for the past 3 months, you might have had accrued income because it becomes NPA after 90 days. So you have to reverse that accrued interest income, and then you will only recognize it on realizable basis. Only when it is actually realized on actual basis, you will credit it. Now, I'll explain to you government guaranteed. So, let's say if some is government, central government has given guarantee. So I'll give you some examples. Have you heard about this loan called as CGT SME loan? I'm not sure you would have. Then there are loans called as Mudra loan. Mudra loan you have heard at least? So CGT SME scheme says that if you are giving loan for business, you don't have to take collateral. Central government is taking credit guarantee scheme. Yeah. So central government is taking guarantee for it. Same way with Mudra loan, you can have such things that up to 10 lakh rupees will give you loan, but will not take any security for it. So if central government has given guarantee for something, for any particular loan, then not an NPA, even if becomes overdue. So you will never do NPA provisioning on loans that are guaranteed by central government. Everyone clear? First point clear? But the same if state government has given guarantee, if state government has given guarantee for some scheme or some loan, then treat as normal provisions of NPA. Normal provisions of NPA if becomes overdue. Everyone clear? So government guarantee भी दो टाइप में है, इन टू टाइप्स. सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट तो गारंटी पक्की, you don't have to classify it as NPA even if it is overdue for more than 90 days. But if it is state government guarantee, then you have to apply normal provision. So if it has become overdue for more than 90 days, then you have to treat it as NPA. But in both the cases, regarded as NPA, for income recognition purpose. What does this mean? Can anyone tell me? But regarded as NPA for income recognition purpose. What does this mean? Can anyone explain? Can anyone think what it means? NPA treat नहीं करेंगे, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट प्रोविजनिंग नहीं करेंगे. Will we do any provisioning if it is a central government guaranteed advance? Will we do a first question? Will we do any provisioning if it's a central government guaranteed advance? No. But will we keep recognizing the interest income on accrual basis even if they have not paid for 12 months? No. But accrued income will become reversed after 90 days. Very good. So, central government, not an NPA, even if it becomes overdue. State government, normal provisions of NPA will apply if it becomes overdue. But in both the cases, it will be regarded as NPA for income recognition purpose. Everyone clear? Very, very important again. Everything we are studying is important. Each sentence, each word is important. Government guaranteed advances. Central government where guarantee is not invoked or repudiated. What does it mean by invoked or repudiated? Okay, it is still enforceable. Very good. It is where it is still enforceable. So guarantee should still be enforceable. So it has not been taken back by government. So central government guaranteed advances where guarantee is not invoked or repudiated would be classified as standard asset only, but regarded as NPA for income recognition purpose. The situation will be different if advance is guaranteed by state government, where advance is to be considered as NPA if it remains overdue for more than 90 days for both provisioning and income recognition purpose. Finished. That's it. Okay, we'll move on to the next topic now. Let's say I want to open an amusement park. Okay. I want to give competition to design. I want to open a big amusement park. The project is of 500 crores. Okay. Recorded income will be reversed. Yes, Navneet. Yes. Recorded income will be reversed in both cases. Anyone else, or can I continue? Clear. Okay. So suppose I want to take a loan to build an amusement park. For that, I want to take a project finance of 500 crores. I approach SBI. But SBI says, I alone cannot take risk of 500 crore. Because if you don't pay me, I'll in one go lose 500 crores. So I don't have the capacity to give to one person 500 crores, one project. So you go to BOB, you go to Bank of Maharashtra, you go to Union Bank of India, you go to Bank of India. Like that, you go to multiple banks and they together sanction the loan. It is called as consortium banking. What is it called as? Consortium banking, or you can call it as advances under consortium. It is like a joint loan. Okay, in simple terms, one, two or more banks are coming jointly to form a consortium and they are giving loans. Okay, in this, there will be one lead bank. Okay, and others would be other bank. Okay, so usually one bank is a lead bank and others are other bank. Now let's say SBI, BOB, BOM are receiving the EMI regularly, but UBI and BOI are not receiving regularly. They all have sanction to this amusement, let's call it AP Fun Park Private Limited. Okay, they have given money to AP Fun Park Private Limited. They have together financed the same project of 500 crores. Now, SBI and BOB and BOM are getting regular EMIs, but UPI and BOI are not getting regular EMIs. Now, who will classify it as NPA? All five or only UBI and BOI? Who will classify it as NPA? Deepak is saying SBI, Navneet is saying all five should classify as NPA. Leading bank should classify as NPA. All banks should classify as NPA. All banks. Kuldeep, what do you mean record wise? Do you mean recovery wise? Bank wise record. So there is only one person who has given correct answer, Kuldeep. It will be based on individual banks record of recovery. Understood? It will be based on individual banks record of recovery. Everyone clear? Let's see the book. Consortium advances, even though it is a joint loan, Tanno, even if it's a joint loan. But practically, I'll tell you what happens. I'll tell you in practical. So usually, when these kind of things happen, where even if the loan was given jointly, in each bank, the record of recovery is different. Do you understand? In each bank, the record of recovery is different. If you are paying to some banks and you are not paying to other banks, then the bank who are receiving money, why will they show the product as NPA and they will reduce the rating of the bank? Think from the bank's perspective. Think only as a banker. Think as a banker. You are getting your money back. Has it ceased to be your income? What is an NPA? Go to the primary definition of an NPA. When it ceases to generate income for the bank. Did it cease to generate income for SBI? Did it cease to, now think, this is your primary definition I taught you. Did it cease to generate income for SBI? No. Did it cease to generate income for BOB? Did it cease to generate income for BOM? No. So if it is still giving them income, how can it be an NPA? Do you understand? In the literal terminology, okay. What if SBI, so borrower is paying full money of EMI to SBI and SBI is supposed to distribute the EMI in all other four banks, but SBI is not distributing for more than 90 days. Then what will happen? Borrower has paid the EMI, but the money has not been received by the other banks. Just think Legally and literally. Just think legally and literally, like Kuldeep said. Just think like a law person on paper. So if SBI has received full EMI from the borrower, and SBI as a lead bank is supposed to distribute the EMI to the other four banks, but SBI is not distributing that money to the other four banks, then will the other banks still classify it as NPA? SBI has gotten full money, but it is not distributing to the other four banks. Then will they still be NPA? Why will SBI classify as NPA? SBI has gotten the full EMI. SBI को तो EMI मिल गई, वो बांट नहीं रहा है बाकी चार के साथ में. बाकी चारों को पैसा नहीं मिल रहा, BOB को, BM को, UBI को. तो SBI क्यों NPA होगा? Others will classify it as NPA. Okay? Others will classify it as NPA. But ये सब real life में very rare you will see that. या तो सब हो जाते हैं NPA, तो कोई नहीं होता. Practically from what I have seen. But this is what literally and legally is. जो कंसोर्शियम बैंकिंग में जब लोन दिया जाता है तो उसकी टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस सारे बैंक के फेवर में होती है, वरना वो एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं करते दूसरे बैंक. In practical life, I'm just trying to tell you what happens practically. So in real life, it is very difficult that one will get money and others will not get money. Because now though there is direct, what do you call it? Dynamic standing instruction. Do you know what is a dynamic standing instruction? Dynamic standing instruction. Simple thing, if you use Netflix or something, or you use Google one, automatically per month money goes away from your bank account, right? Automatically each month the money goes away. If you use Spotify, if you use any of these facilities, automatically the money goes away. That is called a standing instruction. So usually all these banks have standing instruction from the borrower so that this does not happen. Yes, auto pay. So all this is very rare to see. Understood? But I am just telling you what literally happens, what is legally written about it. So let's see the book. Advances under consortium. Consortium advances means advancing loans to a borrower by two or more banks jointly by forming consortium. Joint appraisal is done, joint control is done, joint monitoring is done, and they do exchange of information. Usually a bank with higher share will lead the consortium. Okay. Consortium banks have any clause to the contrary? That is what I'm saying. The terms and conditions will be so solid that they will not let this happen, that one person gets EMI and another person doesn't. So usually either everyone gets EMI or no one gets EMI. Okay. Consortium advances would be based on the record of recovery of respective individual member banks and other aspects having a bearing on the recoverability, where the remittances by the borrower under consortium banking are pooled with one bank, or where the bank receiving the remittances is not parting with the share of other member banks. The account should be treated as not serviced in the books of other member banks and therefore as NPA. Is it clear? It's very clearly written in the book. The banks participating in the consortium therefore need to arrange to get their share of recovery transferred from lead bank, or to get an express consent from lead bank for the transfer of their shares of recovery to ensure proper asset classification in the respective books. That's it. So it's your job to ensure that this does not happen if you have given money. Now, if you have given CC, if you have given cash credit, okay, what will happen? Lead bank will be responsible to compute the drawing power and allocate the same to member banks. In special circumstances, at the request of the borrower, the lead bank may allot a higher or lower share of drawing power to member bank as against their share of advances. What does this mean? It means that suppose Mr. Don has become a big man now, okay? So Mr. Don has taken consortium banking, but he has not taken a term loan. He has taken a CC. So if the CC is, let's say, 300 crores. So SBI is giving 150 crores, let's say, and BOB is given 100 and UBI is giving 50. Okay. Like this, they have divided. So 150 CC, 100 CC and 50 crore CC is being given by different people. What is in security? What is given as security in CC? Primary security. What is the primary security? It will be stock and debtors. Stock and debtors. So if stock and debtors are there, okay, if stock and debtors are there of again 300 crores, then it will be shared. Okay. Before I can explain you this, let me explain you drawing power. Okay. Pay attention. What does drawing power mean? I told you that if you are taking any loan as CC, you have to give stock and debtors. And on the basis of volume of work that you are doing in your business, each month your DP is calculated. This much I explained to you in last lecture. Yes or no? This much I explained to you in the last lecture. So drawing power is calculated. So there should be stock. Okay, stock value. Then minus unpaid stock. Okay, this will be there. Then a value will come. Then minus margin. We'll do a question on this. Okay, just remember this formula. Then margin, you have to minus that margin and then you get A. Okay, you will get a value. Then you have debtors of some amount minus debtors that are more than 90 days, some value. Then you'll get an amount minus margin. And again, there will be some value and you will get a B value here. So DP is equal to A plus B. So I'll tell you what it means. It means, so if there is a closing stock, you will reduce all the unpaid stock. What is unpaid stock? Creditors, okay? You'll reduce the unpaid stock from it because DP or working capital is given for the money you spent. If you have not spent the money, then bank is not taking that as a security. So stock minus unpaid stock, that is creditors, you get some value here. So suppose margin is 25%, you reduce the margin and then the value you get is A. Then there is debtors. If the debtors are overdue for more than 90 days, then you reduce it. And suppose the margin is 40% or 50%, then you get B. So the drawing power will be A plus B. Everyone clear? This is your drawing power that the bank calculates from the stock statement and the data statement you send. This much you understood? Then what this point is saying? It is saying that DP will be calculated. Who will calculate it? Lead bank will calculate it. I'll explain you different examples, Anil, okay? As of now, just understand the basic. Basic is clear, na? We'll study DP in detail. See, if you look your book, DP will come in detail here. Can you see here? So that time we'll study in detail. But because I wanted you to understand consortium banking, I just gave you basic understanding beforehand, okay? It comes later in the book. So lead bank will calculate the DP and it will allot the DP on the basis of share. It will be allotted on the basis of share. But if borrower wants to increase or reduce the share allotted to some bank, it can be done on the request of the borrower. That's it. Any doubt till now? Till now, any doubt? Everyone say quickly, then we'll go on a break. If you have any doubt regarding this topic, I'll start new topic after this. Clear? No. You can see this. They have just distributed. So limit is total 1550. So they have divided on the basis of share. This is not any question. This is not some question. They're just giving you an example. So 100% share. So many banks have given one loan. So they will divide it. So for State Bank of India, DP will be 500. For Bank of Baroda, DP will be 40 crore, like that. So if we are clear now, we'll go on a break for 10 minutes. All right, students, we'll take a break. We'll meet you at 7:40. Hello, students. I am back. Are you back? Quickly give your attendance that you are back. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Good, good. All right. So we have one question from Mr. Stephen Paul, that how to prepare for the subject for exam. How to prepare auditing and ethics for exam. All right. I'll answer this question. I think everyone would have this question. I'll just write it somewhere. I have space. Okay. I'll just write it here. Do you all also have this question? How to prepare auditing and ethics? I have been giving you tips in each class. I have told you that the secret to the secret soup is nothing. It is revision. But I'll tell you how to prepare for exam. Okay. Since I've received this question, I'll tell you very quickly. And I'll tell you with an example. Do you remember in the first class of bank audit, there was one question that how does an auditor understand? Don't look into the book. Just pay attention here. I'm trying to make a point. Okay. We studied a question called as how does an auditor understand the risk management process in a company, in a bank? There was a theory question. How does an auditor understand risk management process in a bank? There was another question that was that how many laws and legal framework are applicable on the banks? There was another question that what kind of reports a statutory central auditor needs to make. When I'm telling these questions, can you remember we studied something like this? Can you remember at least we studied something like this? Now, do you remember that we studied and in the next class, I did previous day's revision. That much you remember? I did previous day's revision in the second class. And that time when I asked you that how do you understand a risk management process, most of you were able to give me the answer. That was oversight of TCWG, identification, measurement and monitoring of risks, then control activities, then monitoring activities, and then reliable internal information system. But how many of you were able to recall this now, immediately? How many of you were able to recall this immediately? If you are not able to, write no, not able to. Dekha to yaad aaya, but when I told, you were not able to recall immediately. But you were able to recall one day after I taught you, right? You were able to recall that time, one day after I taught you. So the second secret of audit is, it's that you don't have to remember for 6 months. Your preparation should be enough to revise all chapters in 1.5 days. Do you remember? Do you know what is the secret to this? The secret is not that how many times or how much you studied. If you didn't study 1 month before exam, suppose, let's take example, suppose Anil, okay, let's take Anil's example. Anil is, let's imagine, very dedicated to audit, okay. Let's say his exam is in September 2026, okay. Now Anil has studied this very nicely, auditing in December. In November also he has studied. Then again in February he has studied. Okay. And in April also he has studied. Then he picked up. Okay. Then he didn't get time because a lot of other subjects were pending. And Anil referred 6 different books. Now, does it mean that Anil does not know or understand audit? No, Anil understands audit. He has revised many times. He has attended all the lectures. He understands things. But what happened in that 1.5 days? Even if I have studied everything, he was not able to complete revision. ऑडिटिंग की खास बात यह है कि उसको पिछले दिन पढ़ोगे तो अगले दिन सब याद रहेगा. You know what is the trick? उसको पिछले दिन पढ़ते हैं तो अगले दिन सब याद रहता है. Yes or no? If I teach you today, tomorrow will you remember or not? But you'll start forgetting after 10 days. Yes or no? आज अगर मैं आपको बैंक ऑडिट का अगले दिन एक शॉर्ट टेस्ट दूं तो आप लिख पाओगे? एमसीक्यू तो सारे ही कर लोगे आप. यू विल बी एबल टू डू ऑल. बट ये टेस्ट अगर 1 महीने बाद होगा तो कल मार्क्स बेहतर आएंगे या 1 महीने बाद वाली टेस्ट में मार्क्स बेहतर आएंगे? Tomorrow you will get better marks. So what is the key? What is the key to prepare for exam? What is the key to prepare exam? कि 1.5 दिन में सब रिवाइज हो जाए. नहीं, रिविजन नहीं, 1.5 दिन में सब रिवाइज हो जाए, ऐसी तैयारी करनी है. Now you understand. It means I have to study not just repeatedly, but I have to study keywords, make basic flowcharts, stick to one book, finish question bank, so that these 1.5 days I have already marked. I have marked what I need to revise, and in 1.5 days I am able to finish all the 11 chapters. And if you're able to revise all the 11 chapters in that 1.5 day, I assure you, your paper will go very well. This is the trick. If you miss on revision in that 1.5 days, if you miss even 2 chapters on that 1.5 days, that 2 chapters will remain weak and you will not be able to recall properly. So how do we prepare for exam? We prepare revision, ability to revise. We prepare ability to revise all 11 chapters in 1.5 days. So what is audit preparation? Audit preparation is ability to revise all 11 chapters in 1.5 days. How can that happen? It can happen when you stick to one book. No book will make you fail. ICAI material is like the Bible, Quran, Gita. It's very good. It's not excess. It's absolutely correct. Any book will be lesser than this. Stick to one book, especially the book that teacher has taught you from, where you studied it for the first time. Make markings in it. So when I teach, I make all these examples and all, right? You can keep a sticky note in your hand. You know what's a sticky note? Keep a sticky note. And if I've taught you something in one flow, so for example, oversight. So bank audit, risk management process, oversight of TCWG, risk identification, measurement and monitoring, control activity, monitoring. शॉर्ट में लिख कर रखो. किसके लिए? रिवीजन के लिए शॉर्ट में लिख कर रखो. बट जब हम स्टार्टिंग में रिवाइज करेंगे, जब इतनी बार रिवाइज करेंगे, तब तो पूरा पूरा ही पढ़ेंगे. दैट टाइम यू हैव टू स्टडी प्रॉपर्ली सो दैट यू गेट द लैंग्वेज. But in that 1.5 days, what will you revise? You will revise all the keywords. Okay? Anything that you are able to recall from. But it should be attached with the book. Why am I telling it should be attached with the book? Suppose you have written keywords, IMM. बुक के साथ में क्यों रखने बोल रही हूँ? कोई रीजन बताएगा? पढ़ते टाइम अचानक डाउट हुआ, कीवर्ड पढ़ रहे हो, यू आर रीडिंग कीवर्ड्स एंड यू आर सडनली डाउटफुल, व्हाट डज दिस मीन, आई फॉरगॉट, व्हाट डू आई हैव टू राइट? नीचे ही आंसर है पूरा, तो आप पैराग्राफ भी रीड कर सकते हो। 1.5 days में आपके हाथ में जितनी वैरायटी कम हो उतना बेहतर है। One book should have everything. In fact, when you are studying study material, okay, when you are doing study material, so for example, lot of you asked me to give you screenshot of my notes, right? Here you asked me to take screenshot. That screenshot, print out if you are taking, if you are writing, if you are putting anywhere, put it near or staple it or put it on a easy note on your book itself. On your book itself. Even if you are referring to RTP, MTP, and if you liked some question a lot, कोई question आपको बहुत बढ़िया लगा, तो स्टडी मटेरियल में उस टॉपिक के बाजू में लिख देना चेक क्वेश्चन 5 ऑफ एमटीपी दिस पेज नंबर, या फिर उसका प्रिंट आउट लेकर वहां पे स्टेपल कर दो। वन बुक should become your full recall. Is everyone clear? Stephen, I hope I answered your question. I don't know if Stephen is still there. Yes, ma'am, clear. Okay. Okay. Can I move on to the next topic now? Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. Very useful. Very good. I hope you follow what I'm saying. Okay. Okay. We are moving to next topic. Okay. So pay attention here. Now, next topic is, when can you be NPA on the basis of security? Till now, we have seen that NPA is always on the basis of, let's say, recovery, right? So NPA is always on the basis of recovery. Now let's see that how can you become NPA? How can anything become NPA on the basis of security erosion in value? So suppose a loan is there, okay? But it can be straight away classified as doubtful asset or loss asset if following happens. First situation is that erosion in the value of security is so much, the erosion in the value of security is so much that it is less than 50%. It is less than 50% of the last value assessed by bank or RBI or any inspection. What does this mean? That even though, let's say, the account is right now in substandard, okay? Only 3 months it has been since it became NPA. So ideally, to become a doubtful asset, it will take some time. But the security, value of the security has gone down less than 50%. Here I mean, value means realizable value. So if the property that they gave me was 1 crore rupees and the value has become 40 lakh rupees, then you have to straight away classify as doubtful asset. Okay. It will go in D1. But bank can take decision on whether they want to classify in what category. Okay. But it will directly go to doubtful category. Everyone clear? Next situation. Next situation. If realizable value of security, is less than 10% of outstanding. What does it mean? If my outstanding is 1 crore and the value of security is less than 10 lakh rupees. Again, I'm telling you, if my outstanding is 1 crore and the value of security is now less than 10 lakh rupees, then directly it will be classified as loss asset. It may be fully written off. Everyone clear? So this is again a very important point, that due to security, see, this will happen only when these people have done some fraud or something very extraordinary has happened, that the value of security just went down like this. Okay. So it is to be taken very seriously. So just to give you a small example, usually in bank, if I give anything as security, even if my loan is for 10 years, 15 years, the valuation is done every 3 years. The valuation is done of any property every 3 years. So if at that time you find that the value of the property has gone down by 50% or 10%, then you have to accordingly take the decision. Navneet, I told you that initially it will go in D1. Okay. But bank also has the right to take decision if they feel that more provisioning is needed. So if it is mentioned less than 50%, na? So if it is less than, if it is only 10% left or 5% left, they'll take it more seriously. Okay. So it depends on the situation. But just pay attention here. There's a silent point in here which is not in the book. Outstanding doesn't matter. Can you see? If you'll see the book, erosion in the value of security can be reckoned as significant when the realizable value of the security is less than 50% of value assessed by bank at the time of last inspection. This will be straight away classified as doubtful. Is it mentioned anywhere how much outstanding is there? Is it mentioned how much outstanding is there? So it does not matter how much my outstanding loan is. If the value of my security has fallen less than 50%, then I have to classify it as doubtful. Is everyone clear? So it does not matter how much outstanding is there. The point is silent. Silent on outstanding of borrower. Which means it does not matter how much outstanding is there. If the value falls more than 50%, then you have to classify as doubtful assets. Okay. If realizable value of the security as assessed by bank or approved valuer or RBI is less than 10% of outstanding in the borrower account, of the security should be ignored and asset should be straight away classified as loss asset. Done. That's it. We are done with that much. Okay. Next. This is again important for MCQs. If any kind of loan is given against term deposits, means FD. NSC, everyone knows what's an NSC? What's an NSC? National Saving Certificate, yes. KVP, Kisan Vikas Patra, IVP. Life insurance, they will never be treated as NPA. So what does it mean? Suppose I have an FD in HDFC Bank, okay? I have an FD of 50 lakh rupees. This FD is for 5 years. Today I need some money for personal use, so I take loan against my own FD. Okay, I take loan against my own FD of 35 lakhs. Then it becomes overdue for payment for more than 90 days. Does bank need to classify it as NPA? Does bank need to classify it as NPA? No. Why? Because they can dilute, because money is already with them. Money is already with the bank. So this is a special case. This is a special case in which even if recovery is not there, the assets are so liquid. The security is so liquid. The loan taken against something is so liquid that bank is saying, even if you don't pay us, we will not treat it as NPA, provided adequate margin is available. What does it mean by margin is available? Suppose instead of 35 lakhs, I took a loan of 49 lakhs against my FD. Then is adequate margin available? Is adequate margin available? Can they recover interest from this? Can they recover interest? No, because the margin is very less. That is why bank always keeps a margin of 15 to 25%. Sometimes it can keep margin of 30% also, but 15 to 25% is the most common margin. So if margin is not there, then you have to treat as NPA. But bank's internal control system do not allow you to give a loan if the margin is not there. Okay. But in general, so if the loan has been taken against the from term deposits, NSC, KVP, IVP, LIC, then you don't have to treat it as NPA even if it becomes overdue. Okay. Next, agriculture advances. Agriculture advances. Now pay attention here. That are affected by natural calamity. So we all understand that agriculture, someone who is farming mangoes, someone who is farming coconut, someone who is farming onion, tomato, it depends on a lot of factors that is out of control of people. Yes or no? That is out of control of people. Suddenly, right now in Sri Lanka and Tamil Nadu, there's this cyclone Ditwa. Okay. So in Sri Lanka, it has impacted a lot. So many people have been affected by it. So many areas have gotten flooded by it. So of course, imagine that someone who has farmland is also might have been affected. They might have lost their crops. Okay. So farming is one of the profession that is severely affected by natural calamities. Okay. And in this case, it becomes very difficult for them to repay the loans. Very, very difficult it becomes. Now, what happens in general? What happens when you don't repay the loan? Bank will take your farming land. Yes or no? Farming land will be your security. So they will have to put seize and sell off the farming land. Yes or no? What happens? Think about it from economic perspective as a whole. That one farming land is taken away. It reduces one economic activity and it puts one family in danger for reasons that they were not responsible. Do you remember even during COVID, banks allowed some time for people to repay and they did not classify everyone as NPA. Okay. Why? Because it was a situation that was out of everyone's control. So what does RBI say? RBI says that banks have the right to decide on their own relief measures. They have a right to decide on their own relief measures. So there are many relief measures. One of the things that Dia said, that you are rescheduling the repayment period, okay? Which means I'm extending the loan. I gave you loan that you have to pay now, but okay, I'm extending the loan, okay? Sometimes they also give new loan. Now you will ask you, ma'am, if someone has not given you money, how can you give them new loans? What do you think is the reason behind it? Banks can give fresh short-term loans to farmers who were not able to pay money. Yes, to do harvesting and to try to buy seeds, to try to buy fertilizers again, so that they can have a harvest, if not this season, then at least next season, and to repay. Is that clear? So banks can give fresh loans to the farmers who were not able to repay also. They can convert short-term loan into long-term loan. So if they have taken any small short-term 5-month, 6-month loan, then it's okay. Extend it and convert it into loan. So all this is part of restructuring. So RBI has allowed banks to decide on their own that how do they want to treat agricultural advances that are affected by natural calamities. Everyone clear? That's it. This is all there in the book. Nothing else is there. Everyone clear? Okay. All right. Next, loan interest bearing loan to staff. Ma'am, what if government paid all the loans instead of farmers? Then it's finished. If government has repaid the loan, then the loans are cleared and the farmers don't have to pay. If they want more money, they can apply again. If government has paid, then the debts are cleared, okay? Aishwarya? Okay. Let's talk about staff loans. So if I am an employee of SBI, I can also apply. I am going to buy a new house. I will also have to pay interest, but my interest rate will be very less. Yes or no? I also have to pay interest to SBI for home loan, but my rate of interest will be very less compared to others. So this is same as any other loan. You have to consider it overdue normally. Okay. So if there is any default in payment, you have to consider is NPA also. So there is no change. Everything is same. Okay. Just the difference is that if you are giving loan to your staff, you are giving as employer, not as banker. Okay. Ma'am, the above opportunity is exclusively for farmers, right? No. Many small cottage industries, many MSME also, for that also RBI has such circulars for restructuring of loan. But right now we studied about agriculture. But if you'll study more in depth once you go in CA final and all, you'll realize that government has schemes, different schemes for different sectors. Okay. So the special thing is that if you are giving any interest bearing loan to your staff, it is as normal loan, but the staff advances by a bank is as an employer, not as a banker, if so, okay? If you are giving loan as a employer, not as a banker, then you have to give under subhead others under schedule of other assets, okay? It will not be part of your general advances in the balance sheet. That's it. There is not much on this. Only this much is there. Okay. Let's move on to next. We'll continue with agricultural advances again. Agricultural advances. Pay attention. Very, very important topic. So, do you remember in your childhood in geography and all that you studied something called as cash crop? Cash crop. Do you remember? So there are some crops जो हर थोड़े थोड़े दिन में या हर एक दो महीने में उपज देते हैं. Means they give harvest in every few days or few months. Okay, for example, cardamom. So cardamom gives us harvest every 45 to 60 days, right? So agricultural advances are given in which if there is a land on which if there are trees, the land is security, but primary security is this stock. Yes or no? This is your primary security, which means like in a normal business loan, your stock is your hypothecation. In agricultural advances, the harvest of your stock, which means your crops, when they are harvested, that is when the work starts. That is when the due starts. So if I have given loan in January and the harvest is happening only in, let's say, April, then it becomes due after the harvest only. Is that clear? It becomes due after the harvest. So bank divides these agricultural loans into two types: long duration crops and short duration crops. Long duration crops and short duration crops, which means where crop season is longer than 1 year. Okay. And any other crops which are not long duration crops, they are short duration crops. Who decides what? So state level banking committees decide that as per their state, which one will be categorized as long duration crop and short duration crop. So state level bankers committee decides it, that which one is short duration, which one is long duration. Okay. Now, how do they become NPA? So they are very special. They don't have the normal 90 days rule. Okay. So what happens, how it becomes NPA? So a short duration crop becomes NPA when it remains overdue for 2 crop season. It means, let's take it in the form of a line. यहाँ पे loan दिया, loan was given. यहाँ पे first harvest हुआ. Okay? So it became due, but not paid. फिर second harvest हुआ, second harvest happened. Still not paid. Now it is NPA. Everyone clear? So when it remains overdue for 2 crop seasons, in short duration, how do you treat someone as NPA? When it remains overdue for 2 crop season. And when do you become NPA in long duration crop? यहाँ पे loan दिया, यहाँ पे harvest, here harvest happened, it became due, not paid. Okay, not paid. Then it becomes NPA. Is that clear? 2 crop seasons for short, 1 crop season for long duration. Everyone clear? Two crop seasons for short duration crops and 1 crop season for long duration. Okay. So this you have to remember. Agriculture advance for long duration crops and short duration crops. Long duration crops will be crops with crop season longer than 1 year, and short duration means whichever is not long duration. The crop season for each crop, which means period up to harvesting of crop rates, would be determined by the state level banker committee of each state. NPA norms will apply. A loan granted for short duration crops will be treated as NPA if the installment or interest remains overdue for 2 crop seasons. A loan granted for long duration crops will be treated as NPA if installment or interest becomes overdue for 1 crop season. Okay. So in exam, even if you get question, they'll mention clearly it is overdue for 1 crop season or it is overdue for 2 crop season. Okay, you don't have to calculate, because for each state, for each crop, the crop season dates, months, time can be very different. So the question will clearly mention that whether 1 crop season is overdue or 2 crop season is overdue. Okay. This I'll do later on. I think that's all I want to do. I don't want to start a new topic right now. Have you finished everything till here? Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am. Do you have any questions till now? I don't want to start a new topic because this will take another at least half an hour. If you have any topic, I'll keep it open for next 2-3 minutes. Then we'll do our MCQs. Okay. All right. Let's go on MCQs then. None of you have any question? Okay, pay attention. Which of the following banking institution is permitted to accept restricted deposits but is prohibited from issuing loans or credit cards? Quickly tell me. Quickly tell me. Correct. 1B. 1B. Everyone I want to reply, okay? Everyone should participate. Okay. Cash credit account is considered out of order if the credits in the account are insufficient to cover the interest debited during which period? Read this properly. Take some time. Read this properly. Cash credit account is considered out of order if credits in the account are insufficient to cover the interest debited during which period. I'll show you. 2A. Everyone go in your book to out of order. In your book, go to out of order. I'll just show you out of order. Now see if you're right. Did all of you make a mistake? Did all of you make a mistake? What mistake did you make? What mistake did you make? 90 days देखा, बस वही याद है। क्वेश्चन तो है ही नहीं वो। क्वेश्चन क्या है? व्हाट इज द क्वेश्चन? क्रेडिट्स आर देयर, क्रेडिट्स आर इनसफिशिएंट लिखा है, ये नहीं लिखा कि क्रेडिट्स आ नहीं रहे। इट्स नॉट रिटन दैट क्रेडिट्स आर नॉट कमिंग इन। Credits are there, but they are insufficient to cover the interest debited. Then what will come? The point will come in which credits are there, but not enough to cover interest during the same period. So what will be the answer? See, what did I say? Do you remember? During my first few classes, even if it takes 10-15 seconds extra, read the question. Even if it take 10-15 seconds extra, never assume, read the question fully. Now tell me what is the correct answer. Now everyone tell me. Yes. D. Okay. Don't make these silly mistakes. This hurt the most in exam. किसी का सबसे ज्यादा दुख होगा पेपर लिखने के बाद अगर गलती की तो. If you make this mistake, this will hurt the most. Next. What is the provisioning requirement of a secured loan that has been doubtful for 2 years? D2. D2 में क्या होगा? So I am asking you, what is the provisioning for substandard asset? What is the provisioning for substandard asset? This is a common question I'm asking. What is the provisioning for substandard asset? 15. What is the provisioning for D1? What is the provisioning for D1? Okay, so D2 is 40% of secured portion. What is the provisioning for D3? What is the provisioning for D3? 100. Okay. What is the correct treatment for income recognition from an advance guaranteed by central government that has become an NPA, but the guarantee has not been invoked? Pay attention, read. Take a few seconds to read. Don't answer in hurry. No fastest finger first, abhi. C, B, mixed question, mixed answers are coming. B are coming. Some have said B, some have said C. C. Now remember, if the guarantee is given by central government, if the guarantee is given by central government, do we do the provisioning? Do we do the provisioning? See, I'll bring it. If central government has given guarantee, do we do the provisioning? No. But is income regarded as NPA for income recognition purpose? Is income regarded as NPA? Yes. So why did you give wrong answer? If it's central government, then it will be classified as standard asset, but regarded as NPA for income recognition purpose. Understood? Many of you changed your answer after I highlighted central. Pay attention to the question. When an auditor of a nationalized bank prepares their report, to whom is it primarily addressed? Now, this is not from this class, from first class. When the auditor of a nationalized bank prepares their report, to whom it is primarily addressed? Everyone is writing A. Mr. Linga is saying D. Dia is saying D. Kuldeep is saying B. Archana is saying A. Anil is saying D. Let's see your book. Let me take you there, okay? This I made you understand. The nationalized bank is required to make a report to central government. Okay? Okay, so primarily they become your people to whom you address it. Done? That's it. We are done with MCQ also. I'll wait here for another 2 minutes. If anyone has doubt, please ask. Otherwise, we'll end the session for today. Anyone has any doubt? You understood the session properly, everyone? Got it, ma'am. Okay. Yes, definitely, the practice is always needed. Ma'am, what if the crops are damaged by animals or any other reason? You can approach the bank and then bank can take. That is why RBI is saying that banks can take their own decision. So it is completely dependent on which bank you have taken loan from, what are their policies. So these policies can be decided by the bank whether they'll cover any kind of loss due to animal destruction. Like for example, some elephants can enter a field and because of that crop got destroyed, so it depends. But if that animal is let's say any kind of insects and they grew because you did not spray the pesticide on time, then bank can say that it is not due to nature, it is due to your own fault. So it depends on the circumstance of the case, Aishwarya, whether the bank will restructure your loan or not. So you have to present your situation to them and then they can decide whether they will categorize it as natural damage or not. Anyone else? Any other question? Crops are also guaranteed. So usually bank does this, Kuldeep, that if I have taken even a home loan, they'll take insurance for the home. If I have taken CC, so they'll take insurance of the stock. So usually it is a part of bank policy to take security, whatever security they have taken to insure it. So if crops are guaranteed, they will usually have insurance. Okay. The bank will take insurance, but then if insurance company pays, doesn't pay, that depends on the insurance company. But usually as internal control policy, banks always have security, banks always have insurance for whatever security they have taken. Okay. Ma'am, how to write answer for case scenario based question? So it depends. Usually, if it is an essay kind of question, you always start with what essay question it is. You mention what the essay talks about. Then you write what the question is about, and then you write the conclusion. So this format you can follow for essay-based question. Rest, if it's a generic question, you can first start with what is written in the question, and then you can explain what is happening. Then you can correlate whether it is correct or incorrect, and then you can give your conclusion. So once you practice a few from the question bank, you'll get an idea. Yes, Kuldeep. Almost all crops are insured. Yeah. Any other question? Okay. I don't think there are any other questions. So I hope you enjoyed today's lecture. Technical team, we can end the class now.